Eric and I decided to take a last-minute 2-day trip to Maine, and we are so excited. We're starting off in Arundel, Maine. I hope that's how you say it. There's an outdoor flea market and a few antique stores we can't wait to check out. This rug would look so beautiful in our dining room, but it's not the right size. We really need to find something like this soon because our current rug is shot. These Victorian photographs are so beautiful. I love the frames, especially the black accents and the gold insets. These poor children look mighty uncomfortable in their outfits, but I think they make a charming pair. I would pick them up, but they're $2.50 for the pair, and it's more than I want to spend. There are some really interesting things in these cases, so I'm making sure I really check them so carefully. I love the way they're all displayed so you can see everything so well. Aren't these cameos so beautiful? I have a few cameos myself, so I'm not going to pick up any today, but this one is especially nice. I know there are a lot of collectors of cameos out there. I don't know much about them. I just tend to know what I like. These beaded purses are also really beautiful. I have a collection of these as well because what don't I collect, friends? This mother of pearl detail all around the clasp is gorgeous. But this one has all of this nice braided beadwork. I'm checking out these hats. They always make me think of episodes of I Love Lucy when Lucy would buy a hat and Ricky would get really mad at her and then all kinds of mayhem would ensue. Do you remember that? If you're an I Love Lucy fan like I am, please leave me a comment. This is cracking me up. Look at this little collection of children's poetry and stories. I love this chicken in the window. Cocks crow in the morn. This is a beautiful handheld mirror. And there's some other pieces here, another little mirror and a brush. They are so elegant. They would look nice on my vanity table, in fact. Here's a broader look at the outdoor flea market. What you can't see is how amazingly hot it is right now. And we got here a little bit later in the day because it was a bit of a drive. So I think we probably missed some of the vendors getting here at the time we did. Eric was really loving this sign, but it's incredibly expensive, and that's fair because they are very hard to find. But isn't it so cool? It's a great color blue and definitely the sort of thing that's right up Eric's alley.
No, we don't like the fake stuff.
I love to see things I haven't seen before, and this antique tricycle definitely fits the bill. I have never seen it. Check out these wooden handles and the leather seat. It is so cool. We're gonna put our purchases in the car and then head to the antique store that is in the same parking lot. I'm completely obsessed with all of the Johnson Brothers dinnerware. This wild turkey's platter is fabulous. Eric has offered to buy me this platter, which I have wanted for the longest time, but I can't even let him buy it for $2.50. It's just too much. These platters are so beautiful as well. I love red and white. I think it's a gorgeous combination. There's so much detail. And this one is really beautiful as well. I think Spode is absolutely a classic. This is a really interesting toll scoop. We'd make a nice decorative piece. It's $24. It's got great color, doesn't it? This is so interesting. I have never seen this Lenox pitcher before, or even this pattern before, and it's called the Patriots pitcher. It was especially designed, and I'm wondering if it was something that was part of the bicentennial era, because it definitely has that vibe. Here's the back in case you're curious. It's interesting that it still has the original sticker on it. I love it when that happens. Eric wants to get a better look at this painted box, but as he examines it, he suspects it's not very old, and he's not a fan of knotty pine, so we're enjoying it, but we're going to leave it here. This is such an interesting photograph. It's a family scene from the early 1900s, but what I really like is seeing the wallpaper and the window treatments and the furniture. It really gives you a sense of how homes were designed back in the day. I love the bookcase. I'm a little bit in love with this jadeite chicken. This little hen on a nest is especially beautiful in jadeite. They make this in all kinds of colors, out of all kinds of materials, but I think the jadeite might be one of my favorites. This is really interesting. These are little drawers from an old sewing machine. And I think they're so pretty, they really do stand alone. $40 for the set. Eric was just showing me this old train conductor hat. It's so interesting. Oh, it's for the baggage master. Excuse me. There's something about old mixing bowls, especially when they're banded, that just calls to me so much. That's why I have my own collection, and I think this set's lovely too. Eric's walking ahead of me. He's a very fast browser. I definitely take a lot more time, and of course, I'm filming. This is such a pretty bowl. Has really interesting designs. Commander-in-Chief of the Forces of the United States of America. It's got this great ship on the inside, Wedgwood creamware bowl. It's so pretty. This is also interesting. This is apparently a reproduction of a gingerbread man mold that was originally inspired by a piece from colonial Williamsburg. It's really neat. $15. This would be a really fun decor item for somebody's kitchen. And here's the back in case you're curious. This booth is definitely Eric's cup of tea, or his can of oil, whatever works. He's been spending a lot of time going through everything in this booth. There are some really interesting things. These old cigarette holders are interesting, and they're giving me Princess Margaret vibes, although I bet her cigarette holders were not 10 cents a piece. This is such a pretty set of Bleak. This one has the green mark, but I like the plate even better. I love the shell pattern to it. It's got that great classic luster that we always associate with Bleak. Love the handles especially. This is so pretty. This tureen is Portmeirion, And it matches the rolling pin that I recently acquired. It's $159.50. It's the exact same design, so I'm really enjoying seeing it here. What a sweet little Fisher-Price toy this is. It has some condition issues, but it's still really cute. Look at the face on this bus.
Eric, what is that?
Pepper. It looks like books.
Yeah.
You get pepper,
Okay.
salt,
Yeah.
and put your sugar in there.
That's so cute. How much is it?
$12.
That's really cute.
I have to show you this booth because it has the sweetest wall art of dogs and cats. This looks like Iris a little bit. Oh my gosh, I think that's a Pekingese. Yes. And the horses. And oh my gosh, the sheep are so sweet. And I'm gonna show you one more. Wait for it. Oh my gosh, the little Scotty. We're headed upstairs now. This place is huge, and apparently there are a whole lot of cases to go through. These birds are really sweet. Royal Copenhagen, $48. There's lots of really pretty birds in this case, in fact, and some really nice pill boxes. Oh my gosh, look at the bunnies. I'm checking out all of the beautiful jewelry, and I like these little hoops with the green stones. I think I'm going to ask someone to unlock the case so I can get a better look at these. They might come home with me. This is so cute. It's a little bronze plaque with pilgrims for $38. I am so drawn to things with pilgrims on them, which is sort of weird and specific. There's a collection of Liberty Blue in this booth with patterns that I have not seen before, like George Washington crossing the Delaware. I see lots of Liberty Blue in life, but I have not seen that. This whole area is 20% off, which is good to know. And this tureen is really fabulous as well. I've never seen this pattern either. So it's nice to know what's out there. I'm admiring all of the silver or silver plated items in this booth. They look so pretty alongside some of the china and glassware. Check out that tray. There are some really lovely things here. I am a fan of silver, even though I know it has to be polished. This urn is really beautiful.
Thank you so much for all your help.
Okay, we're headed downstairs, and I think we're going to make our way out of this fabulous store. We will definitely come back here again someday. We're on our way to the next stop, which is apparently just down the road a few miles. It's nice to see a booth full of Catherine Holm bowls, and there are some beautiful ones in this case. It's so fun to see so many. You can tell that yellow striped one has some condition issues, but it's still fabulous. And this lotus pattern bowl is also really beautiful, $125 on that. And there's more right down here. This is really sweet, this silhouette. It is $40, early 1900s. There's a lot of condition issues, but I wanted to show it to you because I think it's sweet. And I especially like the horse in the background. Very cute. I love that this display case is full of interesting antiquarian books. There are some really good ones here. I'm just checking them all out. Let's look at this little guy. This one looks old. I would say this is probably mid-1800s, but let's see if that's correct. See some foxing, which is typical on old books. 1849, Peter Parley's Tales. We know Peter Parley. I've talked about him before on this channel. I don't think I have ever seen such a beautiful collection of mocha ware with all kinds of different patterns like this seaweed pattern. They are so stunning. I sometimes see a piece maybe here or there, but there's a lot of it in this particular case, and some really nice yellow ware. Don't you love these praying hands bookends? They're so sculptural, $38. They have a marble base. They are really beautiful in my opinion. Let's look a little closer and take in some of the interesting details. I really like them. These are beautiful quilts, and I really appreciate how the booth owner has taken the time to give us as much information as they have on them, because I think when it comes to handmade pieces, having the backstory is part of the fun. This one is $320. It is a beauty. There are lots of vintage tablecloths and napkins and things in this part of the store. And I think it's really smart that they have them in plastic like this so people don't accidentally get oils from their hands or dirt or whatever on them. It keeps them nice and safe and protected. This might be the cutest apron I have ever seen with the poodles on them. Adorable. They're giving me Lady and the Tramp vibes for some reason. This is a beautiful covered, I think this is like a cheese dome. It's so gorgeous. It's $575. Holy cow. If it were a tiny fraction of that price, I would definitely buy this because the scenes on this are so fantastic. Look at the cow and the woman minding the cow in the little creek. This is adorable. I'm admiring this pair of Art Deco lamps. They are so sweet. They're very soft. The colors are so good. $325 for the pair. This is a nice large medicine cabinet, and this kind of piece can be so great for storage or just as a conversation piece, and it's in really nice condition. They're asking $525 for this. Nice Catherine Home covered pot. I just sold one like this in orange and white, but this mustardy yellow is my favorite colorway of all Catherine Home colorways. Here's a funny story. I had these roller skates when I was a kid, and I wore them all the time. In fact, I still have them, but our neighbor across the street had a tennis court, and all of the neighborhood kids would go in the tennis court with their roller skates and have a really good time. I wasn't quite sure what this was until I read the tag. I'm wondering if you know, because it baffled me. Any thoughts? Any thoughts at all? All right, let's reveal it. This is a minnow or fish trap. Who knew? I didn't anyway. I really love this collection of cream and green enamelware straight out of somebody's 1930s era kitchen. The set is $85, which seems so reasonable to me, and most of it seems to be in pretty good condition. This is such an interesting vignette that somebody's created with the scissors and somebody's handiwork and then this old photograph. I wonder if they all actually do go together. This is one of the nicer toll trays I've seen in a long time. It is $125, which is a lot for a toll tray, but when you consider all of the detail in this one, it starts to make a little more sense. I think the peacock is really beautiful, and I love the lattice work all around the edges. Oh, I love Mary Gregory glass. It's so charming. This is just killing me. I would like to buy all of it. I especially love it in this pink color tone. I think that's when it really stands out. Let's take a better look at this piece. $90 made by Fenton. Love it. There are so many different Roseville pieces in this particular case, and if you like them all, you can have them all for the price of $6.95. The whole set is for sale. We're headed out, but we had a great time looking around the store, and we're going to show you what Eric picked up in just a second.
So Eric, what did you buy?
Bought a metal gas can. I like the graphic. Little snowmobile here
Oh yeah.
for mini bikes, dune buggies, and outboard motor. Just like the graphics.
Yeah.
In good shape. I like it.
Awesome. Eric, you know I have to ask the question.
Yes,
Where's it going?
it's going in the barn.
Nice. Let's see the top. All right, Eric has finally made a purchase. Yay! Good job, Eric.
Thank you.
I am so happy that Eric and I decided to take what was a very last minute trip to Maine. We were actually coming home from Stormville, New York, and he was talking about the rest of his vacation. He had a few days left. He said, what if we just, do a quick little overnight somewhere? This is possible now that Zach is home. So he said we could go antiquing maybe and just, get a change of scenery, make the most of this little bit of time I have left before I have to go back to work. So we did a little bit of research, and someone a while back had suggested that we go antiquing in Arundel, Maine and Wells, Maine. So I did a quick search of hotels. I found a place. I confirmed that Zach was available, and we just took off. It was really fun. And I think, for me, one of the things I most enjoy about vacation is the anticipation of the vacation. But there's also something to be said for just this spontaneous little road trip. So in all ways, it was a good call. And the person who had recommended Arundel to me, I hope I'm saying that right. I think I am. That person did not lead us astray because there were some great stores there, and I'm going to show you what I found. Okay, I think Licorice has settled down. I don't know if you heard her tap dancing in the background. She was making all kinds of noise. So we went to a fabulous flea market first, and we were not there at the beginning. We were there just a good hour and a half into it. And I really wish we had gotten there first thing because a lot of vendors were already leaving by the time we got there because it was baking hot. But we found some awesome things. So the first thing I found was this really pretty pair of sterling silver corn on the cob holders. These are really cute. I hope you can see. Let me see if I can show you the detail of the corn on the cob holder. It's so pretty. There were a few of these, but this was the only matching pair. So I picked these up. I would love to find some more. The only thing with things like this is you have to be so super careful that they don't accidentally go down the garbage disposal. Not that I have any experience with that or anything. Let's not think about that. So then I found this beautiful sterling silver mirror. It's really tarnished, so I'm gonna polish this up. It's so nice and heavy. It's got this really chunky feel. I love the details right through the front. So it will be interesting to see how this cleans up. I might be selling this, I'm not sure yet. So I found those. Oh my goodness, there was one booth, not booth, it was a table or an area in particular that had so many good deals. So while I was there, I picked up this beautiful wool sweater. This is so chunky and fabulous. Here it is. You can see the tag. Oops, the tag right here. So really nicely made Irish sweater. And it's got this great chunky knit. There's no holes or imperfections anywhere on this. It's just it's so pretty. I even like the buttons on this. So I picked that up along with this fabulous scarf that I think I'm gonna keep actually. I really like this. It's so pretty. So here's one side, and then it's reversible and it has this great side. I love the pattern on this. It's got some nice fringe, of course. No label of any kind on this, but I think it's really, really beautiful. It feels so warm. I think that will be a nice winter scarf and a nice memory of our trip. Here's the handheld mirror. I have polished it so you can really see the gorgeous details in this. There's a little dent right here on the side, but that's certainly not the end of the world. And you can see like some scratches and things, but overall, I think it's really lovely. Here's the front, and I have it here in my dressing room on the vanity table. And I think it looks really pretty here, but I still may sell it. I'm thinking about it. At the same booth, I picked up this lovely textile. I thought this was so pretty. Isn't that lovely? It has all of this interesting design and embroidery work on it. Great colors, really fun, kind of a bohemian feel to this. Here's the back side, in case you're curious. So I just thought that was really fun. It would make a really beautiful table runner or a wall hanging, or this could even go like at the base of somebody's bed. You could throw it over a chair. There are so many things you could do with something like this. And I think it would give a space, especially if you had kind of a plain space, such a nice like focal point of interest and color. So I thought that was fun and I picked it up. I just laid out this pretty runner or table scarf or whatever you want to call this on the kitchen table just so you can see it in more detail. I think it's so beautiful. It's got, again, just lots of nice details happening, so many pretty colors. I love the birds. Probably tells some kind of story, or you could make up a story to go with it. But I thought it was just kind of unique and just a nice little accent for somebody's home decor. The last thing we found at that same booth, oh no, there were two things we found at that same booth. These beautiful shamrock candlesticks. They have this nice basket weave pattern, which is lovely. And these are Lefton. So Lefton China. They remind me of Balik, but they don't feel like Balik. They're more like substantial in your hand. But I thought this could look lovely as somebody's St. Patrick's Day decor, or just for somebody who enjoys shamrocks. So I picked those up, and I found this fabulous wooden book slide. So you put your books in here, and then you can adjust how many books it holds by sliding the base. I have a lot of book slides myself. I'll show you the end. Most of mine are brass, and I used to pick them up all of the time, and now I find they go for a small fortune, so I don't pick them up anymore. I like the wood ones. I think they have a really nice vintage look. So that will be available for sale on my eBay store. I just put a stack of old books in the wooden book slide so you can get a sense of what it looks like. You can see they sort of almost serve as bookends, but this is a great kind of option if you just have some books that you want sort of freestanding that aren't in shelves. So you can adjust this to fit in more books. I have it at the lowest setting, which again gives you some options. And then when you turn around, you can see the pretty end of the slide. So over here, I have a brass book slide. So here's one of mine. And you can see it's nice because I can just pop the books in here and then they stand kind of freely within the slide without having to get into like books flopping over and that sort of thing. So it's just kind of a fun little gadget. So I'm hoping somebody sees this and decides they want to add it to their own collection. It will be on my eBay store very soon, if not already at the time of this recording. I'm going to show you this really interesting hook I purchased. I love old vintage and antique hooks. I thought this was a nice one. This is an original. And I think this is gonna go on the back of the door, the closet door in the guest bedroom. I don't have a hook there. I love to have hooks behind doors. I just think they're so handy. And this one has a nice old-fashioned look. So I snagged it. And I really, really liked this beautiful frame. I like the details on this very much. I like the sort of crossed effect. It's kind of like an Adirondack frame. I think technically Adirondack frames have like embellishments in the corner. I have a lot of Adirondack frames. So I'm not sure if that also applies just to frames with this sort of crisscross effect. I'll have to look that up. But at some point, Eric and I are gonna do a whole gallery wall going down the stairs from our entryway to the second floor, and it's gonna be family photos and things. And so we want to have a lot of choice in terms of different size and shaped frames to see what really looks best in the space. So I thought this was a nice option. A lot of our frames are great for like 8x10s, but sometimes you want to have some smalls popped in there just for some variation and interest. So I think this will almost certainly get used in that space. And I really liked it. Here's what the frame looks like when I hang it up on the wall. It is so pretty. I didn't notice on the label that it's mahogany. Oh, sorry, walnut. It has these Victorian children. I wonder if they're celebrating something like the 4th of July because this very unhappy looking little boy seems to be holding a flag. But anyway, again, I won't throw out this picture. I'll just put a different picture in front of it. But I thought the frame was really sweet and really just such a great usable size. While we're on the topic of frames, I picked this one up. I really like swing frames and I have a few, but I have never found one for a price that I could live with that had two like 5x7 photograph options in them. So I will not get rid of the original photographs. I'll just put something else in front of them so these stay with the frame. But I was excited to find two. I just thought that was a nice look. I would love to have a little area somewhere in the house with framed photographs. I love that look. And I think the key to that look, at least in my opinion, because everyone should do what makes them happy, I love having similar kinds of frames so that it looks really curated and collected all together. So for instance, you know, all brass frames or all silver plated frames or all wood tone frames in a similar tone, or swing frames, Adirondack frames. I just like that kind of look. And then you change up all the photographs so you have, you know, some uniqueness in that sense, but you also have some cohesiveness in terms of the frames you're choosing. So that's just personal preference. I like that look. The only thing that holds me back is that Iris and Indy love to knock over frames. In fact, I recently put this silver plate frame, let me grab it. I recently put this silver plate frame back. I had this gone for a long time. This is a picture from our wedding, our weird COVID wedding.
And I love this picture and I love this frame. I had picked this frame up at Corner Collective years ago, which is a great store you should definitely check out in Bristol, Connecticut. Right by Terryville, I think. But I always loved this frame, but Iris was constantly knocking it over. So I put it away for a while, and then I thought, because of the space I have this in, so it's almost right up against the window. If she knocks it over, it's not really gonna drop to the floor. It should be protected by the tray and the window, so I think it will make it that way. But I'd love to have photographs all over the house. Maybe someday they will outgrow their desire to knock over frames. I'm not gonna hold my breath about that, but it's possible. I could also put a whole lot of museum putty, I guess, under the frames, but that can start to get sticky and messy, and I don't know if I want to go there. We'll see. It's fun to think about, and you know, maybe a project for a future date. Who knows?
I picked up these very pretty shell-shaped vases, and they have this really pretty lustrous finish. No back stamp on these, and I would usually shy away from things with no back stamp, but this little set was too cute to pass up. So I have them right here on my fireplace mantle for now, and I'm enjoying seeing them. I think they're so pretty. I actually have them staggered, one on either side of the mirror, but I do intend to sell them at my eBay store, so if you're interested, be sure to check out my link. I always include it in my video description.
I was so excited when I found this next thing because I love these and I don't see them very often. But here it is. This is an antique shaving mirror. So this would have been hung up over probably like a wash basin stand or table or similar. And a gentleman can do his shaving by looking in the mirror. And it's kind of, there's two mirrors and they maneuver, like you can adjust them so that you can see from different angles. So these are awesome. Here's the back in case you want to see it. It's on this great chain. The top is really nice. And this is also a great travel mirror because it closes and now it lays flat in somebody's luggage if somebody was back in the day and doing some traveling. I think the back is interesting. It's got this sort of embossed quality. So I would definitely be inclined to keep this, except we already have one. We have a 3-mirrored shaving mirror in our first floor bathroom. So I don't have a good spot for this one, so I think I'll be selling it. I just couldn't leave without it because I thought it was so beautiful and the price was really, really good. Here is the shaving mirror. I just put it in the first floor bathroom. So I usually have a different shaving mirror that's right here. I can see some fingerprints. I'm gonna have to clean that up, but it gives you a sense of how charming it looks. So we have just this very small sink here because this is a tiny space. It used to actually be a pantry. Now it's a half bathroom in here. But it looks nice on this beam, or I guess this is a post, right? Not a beam, post. Looks nice here. I think these, again, just have this great vintage look. I really enjoy these shaving mirrors, and it was just so fun to find one out in the wild. The one that we have, I actually purchased on eBay. I'll put that back up and then I'll show it to you for comparison. Here's our shaving mirror that lives down here in the bathroom. And here's the one I just picked up for kind of a size comparison. So you can see the one I just bought is much bigger and has only the 2 frames instead of the 3. It's got a darker wood tone, but very much in the same vein. I found this old book that just cracked me up because of the cover. There was just something about these little children in bed looking at a rooster in the window that I thought was so funny. And it turns out that this book has lots of photographs that have been staged in all kinds of funny ways to go along with different little poems underneath. and I thought they were just so charming. I just had to have it. Look at this one. Oh my gosh, you see the little boy dressed up like Robin Hood. This book is filled with all kinds of really fun things. All right, last one. Oh my gosh, I don't want to drive you crazy, but here's the last one. These, again, little children all dressed up in period costumes to go along with the poem. I thought that was just absolutely adorable. Anything that makes me laugh is always a good contender for a purchase or a pickup. So I was glad to find that. I thought it was great. It will go in my own collection. The last thing I picked up at the outdoor flea market was this stack of placemats. So these were made by Pimpernel, and there's 4 of them. And they're so nice, and it looks like they have like a little signature on the bottom. They are super clean. I love the color. These would look beautiful in my own kitchen. In fact, I like the butterflies and the blue bows. I just thought it had a great look. Nothing special on the back. And I'll show you the manufacturer. It says Pimpernel. I believe that is either a store or a brand. I haven't done any research on this yet. I will do some research though, and these will be available on my eBay store. I just put the placemats on the table. I think they're lovely, and I discovered such a funny surprise when I looked at the inside of the box. So you can see it says Pimpernel, art for the table, easy to clean, unique, silky finish, blah, blah, blah. Port Marion, USA. That is so funny. These were made in China, but this was sold in Naugatuck, Connecticut. That is nuts. So I wonder if this is some kind of Port Marion pattern or just a product that was carried by Port Marion. I really don't know. If you have any idea, please let me know in the comments. I will do some research before I list them. But that's such an interesting connection and probably explains why I like them so much. And I just want to show you how they match my kitchen cabinets. Look at that. They look really nice. However, I think if I were to put my Port Marion plates on these, it would be super busy. Maybe I should just give that a try so we can see what it would look like. I think the blue accents in this would also be wrong with the Port Marion, which has very clear green accents. But let's try it. Why the heck not, right? Okay, so here's a Port Marion plate. And I think that's pretty, but I think awfully busy. And I just think the two looks are not quite doing it together. So I think a different kind of plate pattern would be so much prettier with these. But certainly you can do whatever you like. I am a big believer in doing whatever makes you happy. After we finished at the flea market and we were almost melted into a puddle, we went into the wonderful air-conditioned store that was right next to it. I can't remember the name of it, but I will put it in the description box below so you know exactly where we were. This was a fabulous antique store. It was humongous. The prices I thought were for the most part very reasonable. I would definitely go back and I definitely recommend it. In fact, I would say I strongly recommend it. I only bought a couple of things, but I had a fantastic time looking and Eric enjoyed it as well. I bought these beautiful brass-toned curtain tiebacks because I could use them in the master bedroom. I currently have curtains that are being held back with nails, which is not an elegant look, and it's definitely not correct to the period. But these will be so lovely. So I thought they were a great find. I paid $10 for them, which I thought was extremely reasonable. And I also bought a few pairs of earrings. I think it might be easier if I show them to you on the table so you can see them in more detail. So let's do that. Here are the 3 pairs of earrings I purchased. I especially loved these hoops with the green stone. I thought they were really pretty. And similarly, I bought these circular green ones that almost remind me of like a turtle shell pattern. And these teeny tiny sort of orangey reddish earrings. These are all sterling silver. They were no more than $10 a pair. And I thought they would give me a nice option for earrings, especially like when the weather starts to get cool and my neckline goes up a little bit. You know, when you start to wear things that are more like turtlenecks, it's nice to have a little bit of color right up by your face for just some interest and a sense of fun, I think, in the old wardrobe. So these will be nice additions to my jewelry collection, and of course, will remind us of our fun trip to Maine. Here we have an interesting kitty yoga pose where we have the right paws to one side and the back paws to the other side. He loves to lie like this. He does look very comfortable, don't you think? Here's Miss Licorice. She is sleeping and she is becoming a little bit hard of hearing, so it's a lot easier to creep up on her than it used to be. She loves this spot because she can look out the windows and bark at people who are walking by if she's awake to do that. I think it makes her feel like she's on top of a mountain. Here is Miss Iris. Always our friend who's a little harder to find. She's hanging out here, just doing her thing. This is just a faux situation. There's nothing in it. It's just an antique. It is not a usable item, just so we're all clear. Iris is still scratching her face, so I have a call into the vet. We're gonna try some hypoallergenic food and see if that does it. Poor little thing. She is pretty though, even with a scratch on her face. I just want to make sure this girl is getting whatever care she needs. And her brother is climbing a ladder because he's nuts. Look at this guy. He's ready to paint the house. The reason why there's a ladder in this room is because Eric is finally attending to this little doorway that he put in last winter. He's getting it all ready for paint so it looks really nice. And I'm so glad because that was kind of bothering me. But now that we have the beautiful new curtains, we're really wanting this room to be finished and complete. So this will be a nice finished project when it happens. Lately, every time I show you Wilson, he's sitting in the dining room and he's showing off the frayed edging of our rug. Isn't that beautiful? Anyway, I won't linger here too long because Indy's right behind me and I don't want Indy, here he comes, I don't want Indy to bother Wilson. He is resting comfortably. Yeah, and he doesn't want to hear it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit like. Please consider sharing it with a friend if you know someone who might enjoy it. I would love it if you would subscribe if you haven't already. Have a fantastic day, and I really hope to see you next time. Bye for now.